Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan. Joining me today and our conversation is David Rochefort, the president of Graduate Hotels. David and his team have created a traveler's memory-making journey with Graduate Hotels. They are a collection of thoughtfully crafted hotels that reside in some of the most dynamic university-anchored towns across the country. They all celebrate the optimistic energy of each community that they're in. David, welcome to the show. How are you? And congratulations on the Golden Retriever puppy.
Thank you, Craig. With that voice and that intro, I'm going to put you on a commercial one of these days when Graduate's ready for the Super Bowl. It's going to be you and your voice.
Hey, Danny and I work cheap. We'd be great brand ambassadors for you.
I love it.
No problem.
I love it.
So, David, let's get right into this, please. 2020 tested everybody's mettle. You had openings, closings, construction delays, and teams at each one of your hotels, plus the corporate offices to take care of. What was 2020 and COVID-19 like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think like everybody in the industry, we were tested. And to be tested at such a young age as a company and a brand, I think is a particularly interesting period of time. So I can tell you back in March of last year, as the world was changing literally every day, we were actually having these conversations saying, well, we're going to be great because universities never shut down, right? And that's always been part of the investment thesis. And lo and behold, we ran into a pandemic that might be the only thing that will shut universities down. And so, as you mentioned, we went through a phase of full closure across the portfolio, a period where we had a few of our construction projects delayed, although we pushed through much of that. Those two projects were in New York City on Roosevelt Island and in East Lansing. Those were the two markets where construction progress was really impacted just by the nature of the city and permits and COVID restrictions. And then we came out of it, and today we've got 27 of 28 graduates open. We have a few of our non-graduates that have not converted open as well, kind of under their original flag.
Right.
And I'll say, we were in a unique position, just given the growth, as you can imagine. And I've always shared this story. When I started over 6 years ago, I think all of us at the AJ Capital Graduate Hotels team, we thought this would be a great, cute little 8 to 10 hotel portfolio. That's what I always said.
Right.
And so much of our processes, our systems, our infrastructure, we were built to be that, but we were sitting there in March at 22 hotels and playing catch up. And so in a crazy way, I am convinced that we're going to come out of this a stronger company because we essentially hit pause on everything. And no company ever welcomes that time, but we sat around the table and we knew we were well capitalized. Our partners and investors see the long-term future, and we had this amazing time to say, okay, well, we did everything we needed to do from a liquidity standpoint to ensure the short-term future. Well, now let's think about long-term future and rebuild how we do many of the things as a company, not prepared for today, 35 hotels, but prepared for 50 plus hotels. So I would say we're coming out of this ready to scale even faster or better prepared to scale. And I know I might be the only one who's like, there's going to be a silver lining to COVID and we may not know for 12 to 24 months just what that looks like. But that's generally what we're thinking in our offices is that we are going to come out stronger and better and truthfully ready for growth.
And that's great. And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted you on the show, because your platform, and again, I think you're absolutely correct. University towns, celebrating the community, having all those dynamics. Yeah. What's going to shut you down? A global pandemic. Exactly. Okay. Because I believe in that same formula. Yeah. And a few years ago, I was trying to get a hotel built at a university with a medical school, and they were raising over $1 billion to build the medical facility, world class. And I'm going, I get this hotel done, and I've got enough space to actually do a campus, do the second one down the road, and but it all went sideways, like they do.
Yeah. Well, one of the most unique pivots. So, I'd say there's two things I'm unbelievably proud of on property. One was, like a lot of other brands, we came out with our cleaning protocols, right? Our COVID protocols called Graduate Cares, which was in partnership with the Cleveland Clinic and Procter and Gamble. And I think what I'm really proud of is, you usually don't, we're such a unique brand. We're really not standing next to the Hyatts and the Marriotts and the Hiltons of the world, just given size. And yet we were able to introduce a program at our size that rivals, with partners, that rivals those really big, conglomerates and larger companies. And I think that really helped fuel some of the initial comeback and growth for us. And then two, this is where being operator, where owner operator brand really comes into play, is we were able to pivot, and we ended up housing something like 1,600 students in our hotels for the semester. Wow. So not only was that a financial win, because when a lot of our competitors were empty, we were able to put students in, it was guaranteed income. But the way we see it is we were creating long-term guests, right? We were creating this really unique experience with these students, whether it's them telling their parents or the parents learning about us by the nature of what we were doing, or when you come back in 4 years for your first reunion, when lo and behold, how great does that sound? Reunions and having people back on campus in a way, they're going to remember kind of how we played a role. And we've actually increased those numbers coming into this spring semester. We're actually doing probably over 2,000 students, a lot of those in direct partnership. So we're super excited about that. That's kind of like a rare win-win type of a scenario. And it just kind of speaks to the ability that we had as a company to pivot in the face of all this, just given kind of our vertical infrastructure and owning everything. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about your expansion a little bit. You're leaving the United States. You've got project in Cambridge and Oxford in the UK. You've got Roosevelt Island. You've got Dallas, East Lansing. Great opportunities, obviously, So what's going on there with all those projects?
First of all, opening hotels, is there nothing better, right? I mean, already the optimism around an opening a hotel is great. I will say we opened 6 hotels last year when everybody else was stopping. So that's a down year for us in terms of openings, but we had opened hotels kind of in the teeth of the pandemic last year. And then we're moving into these projects, which we're unbelievably excited about. East Lansing has been a market we've wanted to be in forever. Ann Arbor is just up the road, one of our most successful graduates. It is at the gates of the university, the most dynamic rooftop in East Lansing. It's just going to be a game changer for that community. The UK, I think, is particularly exciting. It's going to show, and that's in Oxford and Cambridge, arguably the 2 most iconic university towns in the entire world. So when you give our designers the ability to kind of pull on 1,000 years of history to tell stories, and the history and the heritage of the schools and the markets could not be better. And then, Roosevelt Island is, obviously near and dear to my heart as a Cornell alum and Cornell Tech. And that's been literally a 5-year process from winning the RFP to 24 months of construction. That was pushed off given the construction headaches, but also what New York City is going through. But we're set to open it this summer, and it is just such a unique property, and I think is going to really stand out in that market, especially given everything that's going on. I think you hear what people are talking about in New York City, and so much reliance on, is the convention's going to come back and the international travel coming back. And of course, that's all important to us, but we've got such a unique niche on the campus. We're going to stand out as just like one of the most unique products. And so and the views from the roof are just unmatched.
I can't wait to see that hotel. And the assets that you're putting together in the UK. I got to get over there and see that. Maybe you and I can make a side trip, go to Dublin and the Temple Bar area.
Exactly. There you go.
After that.
There you go. We looked at a hotel over there, by the way. That would have been an amazing graduate, right?
Oh, man, would it? Yeah. I mean, 2 of my favorites in Dublin are the Clarence that U2 owns, and the Morrison.
Yep.
And that had some flats attached to it as well. Great hotels. Anything on the horizon in California? It's CLIC Connect. It's all about California with me. You got one hotel here. You need more.
So I would actually argue one of the it's unfortunate what some cities have gone through as a result of COVID. However, as a developer that is constantly kind of pushing what can be done and everything else, we got approved in Palo Alto, which was a long fight.
Right.
Right downtown, the old hotel president, and that's our next project.
Nice.
And cannot be better. The support from the Stanford community has been tremendous. I will tell you, we're all over the West Coast. There's a little, Southern California is a little blank spot on the map, along with Texas and Florida, the kind of three that we're really anxious for and excited about. And so we're looking in all the markets. Palo Alto is going to be tremendous. That's our currently, which I can tell you will certainly not stay this way, but our only 2022 project in the pipeline. But will be iconic. And then we actually have a 2023, which just got approved, which is in Princeton, New Jersey as well. So not California, not the city that's near and dear to us, but certainly owning the Bay Area markets between Berkeley and Palo Alto will be huge.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, David will be joining us on March 4th for CLIC Virtual. So, and hopefully we can get him into California on October 5th for our live in-person event at what I like to refer to as the crown jewel of the Anaheim resort area, the new JW Marriott. David, unfortunately, we are out of time, my friend. You've got an open invitation to come back anytime you want to. How about a shameless plug? How can people get a hold of you and your team over at Graduate Hotels?
Yeah, absolutely. GraduateHotels.com. Best place to find us. Instagram, Graduate Hotels. Facebook, Graduate Hotels. Relatively easy to find us. And, please hit the road trip, whatever you're comfortable doing. We're not going to Dublin anytime soon, Craig. So why don't you hit a college town, a university town, wherever you are. And even if it's not with the Graduate, they're the most, I believe, the most dynamic and most university markets in the country. And, go explore part of the United States you haven't seen for a while or never seen before.
Yeah, it sounds like a conversation I was having with producer Danny. She's got a little wanderlust, and she's going to be taking off on a road trip. So she's going to be working remotely. Not that we haven't been working remotely already, but there we go. David, thank you for joining us today. And I'd like to thank you, our audience, for being a part of the show today. And remember to ring the bell, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of our social media platforms. And I'd like to thank our production partners, Red Roof Franchising and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group here in California. But like it says in the title, they're national. They can help you across the country. Remember, be kind, share your knowledge. Now, go be amazing.